Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is well. Welcome to our weekly Sunday Live Doe for Degrees Community Scholarship Chat. I'm going to check the audio on my phone before we get started. And then we will move forward. Let me drop a message in the chat to say hello to everyone. Feel free to leave a comment or a question about scholarships if you have one. Give me 1 second. All right. I think we should be. All right. Audio is good. Good stuff. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday. It is 3:01 p.m. You all know we go live every single Sunday at 3 o'clock for our weekly community scholarship chat on Doe for Degrees YouTube channel. In this 30-minute conversation, I answer any questions you have about scholarships, tell you some things that have happened for Doe for Degrees within the last week. I'm just here to serve as a resource. We're here to serve as a resource. So let me give you a heads up. I owe y'all one video. I promise y'all 3 videos a week. The third one is being edited today. I plan to get it out to you before midnight, but if I don't, you'll see it by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So keep your eyes out for that. That video will be titled How to Find Local Scholarships. So you all know we are in the Community Foundation / Local Scholarship Series, and this series is all about making sure you are applying for local scholarships. The local scholarship window is from January till about April. Hey, sister. I hope all is well. From January until April of every single year, it's the best time to apply for local scholarships. And local scholarships, if you saw our video, the best scholarships to apply for, you know that is one of the 2 that I mentioned. I mentioned local scholarships, and I mentioned the ones that fit you best based on your scholarship profile. And so that would look more like the ones in your hometown, the ones you go see a guidance counselor about, or you hear about from a fraternity or a sorority, the credit union, the local lawyer's office. They're offering a scholarship, a nonprofit organization in your hometown, a small business is giving back to the city. They're making sure students who are graduating from the city have funds to go to college and graduate with little to no debt. And so this video I'm going to put out to you within the next 24 hours, how to find local scholarships, is teaching you the science, the 4-step process I use to find them. And if you watched last week's YouTube live, and I did mention it there, I did mention the 4-step process I went through and kind of summarized it, but you all know the videos when I get on the board and actually talk about it, they're probably a better way to communicate as opposed to me talking about it in the live. So at any point in time during this conversation, if you have a question or comment, drop it below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'm here to help. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm your host for today's Community Scholarship Chat. I'm also the founder of Doe for Degrees LLC and a debt-free graduate of Virginia Tech. I graduated debt-free in 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. So to summarize what happened this week for Doe for Degrees, the first video we put out, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I believe it was how to ask for a letter recommendation. And so if you watch the video, the scholarship we're currently working on, the Community Foundation of the Dan River region, that's a community foundation in my hometown. I won their top award when I graduated from high school as a senior in 2015. And there's a science behind applying for community foundation scholarships. And so go watch the first video, what is a community foundation, to better understand how they work within the overall scholarship system. And then watch the Community Foundation of the Dan River region video to understand what a community foundation scholarship application actually looks like. And then watch the latest video I dropped today, the Community Foundation of the Dan River region essay, to understand how to write an essay for a general application for a community foundation. And then the next video, we're going to talk about local scholarships, and I'll probably wrap up that series within the next week or 2. And so outside of those 2 videos, Doe for Degrees, we traveled this week. I went back home. I'm from Danville. I went to Blacksburg. I went to Blacksburg, Virginia, to get my undergraduate degree in communications at Virginia Tech. So I went back to Virginia Tech with 2 of my best friends, also business partners, Hackett-Greene and Kevin Stevenson. They had a speaking engagement at the 5th annual Virginia Tech's Uplifting Black Men Conference. And so we have another special guest. Corey's here. He's going to recap it. Kevin, he departed this morning, so he's not present. But Corey is going to tell you what they did yesterday and the day before yesterday. So we're talking about Saturday and Friday and how they returned back to their alma mater to give back. And then after that, I'll come back, give you some more scholarship advice, and we'll wrap up today's chat. If y'all have any questions or comments or concerns, drop them below. And if you have a question about scholarships, when Corey finishes, I'll come back and answer your question. I'll see you soon.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Danielle did hit me with the okie doke today, so bear with me. Just super excited to be on her platform today and just to be able to celebrate all the amazing things that she's doing thus far, and super grateful that she was able to travel with us this past weekend. We were actually afforded the opportunity to present at the 5th Annual Uplifting Black Male Conference. Myself, Corey Hackett-Greene, the founder of CLH Consulting LLC, where I help people discover their purpose and walk in every single day, and my good brother, Kevin Stevenson. And they reached out with us for this opportunity to be able to present to young Black males to help them establish what their purpose is and just to figure out what they need to be doing along this journey of life. And Kevin and I are super, super big on maximizing our time. So we decided to kind of offer up the idea of hosting our very first live podcast recording. And I was super excited for that opportunity. We started last March. I believe it was March 24th was the first official release of our podcast. Didn't really know how to speak that well. Wasn't sure how to edit a podcast, but we just jumped in, took immediate action. We were actually challenged by Nehemiah Davis, who told me that day when I met him from a real estate conference that he wanted to hear a podcast within a week's time. And we were just, rushing back and forth, trying to figure out what we should talk about, what we should name the podcast, and to turn around in almost a full year turnaround. We're just super excited and blessed for the opportunity to be able to host the very first live edition of the podcast at our alma mater, Virginia Tech. And it went extremely, extremely well. We had a pretty large turnout, for more than we expected. And just to be able to have a casual conversation of understanding what purpose is, understanding what Black excellence is with the current student body was just an amazing experience. And they were also in a comfortable position to be able to have this level of conversation. Now, when you do these large conferences, it's a little bit challenging, and sometimes you get intimidated by the suits and the level of conversation that is being had throughout these conversations, throughout these conferences. But to be able to sit down in a real casual setting and to be able to speak your mind and to feel comfortable with other Black males, I think it did provided them a tremendous experience for that weekend. Following that day, we did have the opportunity to present at the Uplifting Black Male Conference. Kevin and I decided, as no more interviews, that we wanted to talk about purpose. And the name of our presentation was called I Am, because we believe that those are two of the most powerful words, because anything that you put after them is actually what manifests into your life. So I got a little excited and almost went back to my Pee Wee football days and decided to rile up the room and just have Black men chant things that are positive and things that they need to be able to understand and to be able to live out in their everyday life, and just understanding, what it means to be a man, consisting as being a visionary, a provider, a teacher, a protector, a cultivator, and all these different things that, embody what the Black male should represent within the Black community. And it was a super exciting process. We had an age range between 14 and 25 years old, and just to be able to see the different backgrounds where people came from, and just helping them affirm everything that they want to do and the dreams that God has placed within their heart, and letting them know that they are capable, that God has blessed them with unique gifts, talents, and abilities, and that is their responsibility to be able to maximize all of these things. So just being able to share that, and then after the presentation, just being able to have one-on-one conversations with some of the younger kids, because, a lot of people, when it comes to your dreams and everything like that, you're so concerned about what everybody else's opinion is in regards to whatever God has placed within your heart. That conversation, first and foremost, needs to happen between you and God. And beyond that, you just need to be able to develop your self-image and that level of confidence in the gifts that He has given you. And to be able to sit down with young Black men where they're saying, my parents are saying I should do this, but I really, really love this. And to be in a position to say, trust me, follow your heart, follow what God has planted within you. And I promise that everything will be okay, because, myself, Kevin, and Danielle are in the midst of following the vision that God has blessed us with and walking in it every single day. And we are just seeing the world unfold as we continue to take steps while doing so. So it was just a blessing to be able to be in front of these young men and to be able to, affirm them the positive things that are capable when you tap into your dreams, and just continue to spend time cultivating your gifts and maximizing everything that God has given you, because He is Jehovah Jireh and He will provide. He does not go back on His word, and just being able to reaffirm that, I believe, was very important. And after that, we just took some time to be able to just have more casual conversation with the students, and just to allow them to know that things were possible, to be able to give them, kind of a background as who we are as individuals, where we gain our knowledge from, the people that have been able to be a blessing to us, and just, creating that funnel of information. I think it is very, very important to always reach back. We all have taken the time to read books, to go to seminars, to, develop relationships with mentors and different things of that nature. But when we receive that information, we are responsible for giving it back to that next generation, because they need it, and they need to be able to see first and foremost that we are replicating and leading by example, but then they need to be able to have sit down conversations with us to break down and explain these things so that they can become successful as well. So we were just super blessed to be able to share that experience. And we have some really awesome announcements coming for April, I believe it is. April with Virginia Tech, and just preparing for the In My Bag tour. I am super, super excited to once again give back to our hometowns, and we're adding Kevin's hometown this year as well. And honestly, I've been emotional all weekend, and I don't really get too emotional, but just watching the progression of my life and Kevin and Danielle and the stories that we have traded just since knowing each other since last year, and just watching how God has just been maneuvering through us, through all the pain, the sorrow, and all the different things that we've been able to experience as individuals, and how we've been able to overcome them as individuals and collectively as well, has just been a blessing to be in the midst of. And, with this month being would be 2 years since my grandmother passed away, and just, being thankful for everything that she instilled in me, and knowing that she is watching down on me every single day, knowing that her prayers did not go to waste, knowing that, the stern teachings and the slaps on the wrist and all that stuff that, I dreaded when I was younger, but, it just allowed me to become the best man that I could possibly be. And I just bless God for all the people that he has put in my life, mentors, family members, friends, my business partners, and everything like that. I'm just very, very thankful for that. So make sure you stay tuned. We will have some amazing content coming very, very soon. Pictures and videos from this past weekend from the podcast and also the conference. We do look forward to expanding on that I Am presentation. I've already had a couple of inquiries from the affiliate alumni of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, which we'll look forward to building that partnership and being able to talk to the Kappa Leaguers, which are young high school students, and translating that same information. And of course, a couple of ideas moving forward as well. So I am super excited to just be able to expand on reaffirming what we should be doing for Black males in the community, and continuing to not only speak about it, but to lead by example as well. So I am just very, very grateful for all of the love and the support that you continue to give us day in and day out, because it truly does keep us moving. So Danielle, if you don't mind returning, because you put me on the spot today, but
I did not put you on the spot, by the way. I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you do that?
I gave you some room.
What was your biggest takeaway having attended Virginia Tech as a Black male, and then coming there for a conference that was created to uplift Black men? What was your biggest takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway from this weekend is that there needs to be an extension of that pipeline. I believe that the young alumni need to be able to have this connection with the student body. And then in addition to that, the young alumni need to have connection with the older alumni, because, I think there's some sort of disconnect going on, and just being able to sit down with these children that are currently in school still, I think it just changed a lot of their thoughts and the habits and the patterns, because when you don't have people close in age relaying information to you, it's sometimes harder to accept from older generations, because you think just because they're older, they do not understand what you're going through. And to be able to have that middle ground where we step in and have these conversations, they tend to be more receptive to the same information that has been passed down to us, because we understand what the older generation has been able to provide in regards to resources, knowledge, and all the different things like that, being able to receive them and translate them into the younger group. So I think that was probably one of the biggest things that I learned from this weekend.
Cool beans. What advice would you give? Because y'all know I'm gonna put a recap video on the channel. Like, I shot some footage, put everything up. Oh, my dad said interesting. My kitty said great job. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to someone in regards to attending the conference next year?
In regards to attending the conference, my biggest thing is take notes and network. You never know when you're going to hear that tidbit of information that might impact and change your life. I think it's just very important and they talked about this yesterday, but the difference between listening and hearing, and how one is passive and one is active. you just need to make sure that you are using these resources, because a lot of people put tons of hard work into these events and they break their backs to be able to provide resources for young Black men. But we need to make sure that we are taking advantage of these resources, making sure that we're getting out, that we know about these things, that we are providing feedback, just making sure that we are doing everything that we can to the best of our ability, and just making sure that we network as well. Like, you never know who can change your life. If I didn't know Danielle, I wouldn't know, her network of people. The same thing for Kevin, and the same thing for the relationships that I extend to them as well. It's like, you have to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward, presenting yourself properly, shaking hands, looking in the eyes, and just learning the different things that you need to do in order to be able to tap into the resources that are available and provided to us.
All right, now let's look at it from a global perspective.
Okay.
I know I'm asking you a lot of questions, but like, of course, chill out. You being extra on the camera, you being extra. But like, we can tend to try to narrow things down by race, but we are all one race, essentially the human race. Of course, we are different culturally, different races, all that stuff. But if you look at it from the global perspective, understanding distinct differences between men and women, as a woman being there, I came to support you all. To give context to everyone who's watching and who will watch the replay, we both graduated from Virginia Tech. Kevin graduated from Virginia Tech as well. You graduated in 2017. Kevin and I graduated last year in 2019. If you don't know who Kevin is, Kevin Stevenson is the co-founder of the In My Bag Tour. He's also the founder, CEO, and president of the K3 Marketing and Media Group. He does photography, videography, websites, a whole range of things. Kevin is amazing. But we co-founded the In My Bag Tour together, all three of us. And so coming into that space as a woman to support you all was great. But I look at the people who watch my channel come from diverse backgrounds. We serve people from diverse backgrounds. And so when you take that element of race away, what are the core principles or the core understanding that can be applied to both demographics of men and women?
For that, I just believe that there is no limitation on what your gifts are meant for and who you're supposed to serve. As you just suggested, just for instance, for the In My Bag Tour, we saw so many different races and cultures that were present with the same need. And, if we didn't tap into who we were as individuals and what we could do collectively, not only would Black people suffer, but, there was Caucasian people, there was people from Spanish descent and different things like that. So you never know, who your gift is meant to serve, but your objective is to maximize that. So, everything should be done from a place of love. And you also should make sure that your heart is in the proper posture to be able to serve as many people as you possibly can. And it's just our responsibility to do that. We're not supposed to overthink like, maybe I shouldn't give to this race, or maybe, it shouldn't come from that place of position, because if you're serving from that place, you're not truly representing who God is and what he has called you to do. You have to make sure that you're extending that same grace and mercy, no matter where you are and where you're located. But it all goes back to heart posture. We have this objective to serve. I don't care what people look like. I don't care how old they are, anything like that. If my heart is in the right place, if our foundation's heart is in the right place, then we are doing what God has called us to do. And I'm not here to be accepted by anybody else. I'm here to be accepted by this vertical relationship that I have with God. And I understand. Listen, if I put on my suit today, I might bring out my Bible. But I just understand who I'm on this earth to serve. And if I make sure that I'm representing God and doing what he has called me to do, I can't concern myself with, the things of other people of this world. I'm doing what I've been called to do.
Okay, good stuff. Any final thoughts? Y'all have any questions for Corey or I regarding what we did this weekend, what we have planned? Feel free to drop them. Did you give your socials?
I did not. My website should be up this week, finalized. You can be able to reach me at CLHGreene, GREENE.com. I am on Instagram, and I'm working on kind of changing my personal brand, because my social media name has nothing to do with what my actual name is. But if you are interested in following me and seeing some of the personal brand work that I do for brands, and also just going along my journey as an individual as well, you can follow me at Dwayne, DWYANE_wave, WAVE. Also going to be working on some YouTube content this week, and just continuing to level up my Greater Works program from CLH Consulting LLC, where I'm currently helping people develop the positive mindset that they need in order to commit to the purpose that God has blessed and instilled within their hearts. So that is all of my social information. And Facebook, you can find me, Corey Hackett, Corey, last name Hackett, Hackett. And if not, I will be next to Danielle and Kevin regardless. So if you see them, you'll probably see me too. So thank you again for having me today, YouTube Live. I look forward to sharing more and more information and just continuing to serve the community. So,
any questions for me?
For you,
yeah.
What was your experience like this weekend from the outside looking in, and the representation of Black men and what we can do to be able to be better leaders in the community?
That's been like 5 questions in one question.
I can't help myself.
So y'all work me like a Hebrew slave. I'm gonna let everyone know who's watching this. I was worked like a Hebrew slave Friday and Saturday.
I am not here to disagree. I am thankful.
But no, it was great. I'm big on just stepping in and helping people. Y'all can tell by the way I try my best to run my channel. It's all about being of service. Whether you have a question as to why you should apply for this scholarship over that one, I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you come from. I don't care where you're heading, as long as you're heading in a positive direction. That's my only quote, or something I go by, is I'm here to help you. Whatever I can do to help. I tell y'all all the time, if you want to contact me one-on-one, you can do that. But in regards to this weekend, to look at it from another perspective, because I just gave context. I spoke there last year and had the opportunity to speak there as a student and to come back as an alumni. I mean, it's you get 2 different experiences, because as a student, you're embraced like, hey, we're here to serve you. Now you come back and it's like, how can you serve us? Which is all about, that's what Virginia Tech stands for. Our motto is ut prosum, that I may serve. And so as you're selecting your universities, here's a plug, which college you're going to go to, you definitely have to look at the culture and the structure of the university, because that will strongly impact the way you experience college. That will strongly impact your college experience. And so coming to be of service, not only to you, but we had hour-long conversations with students from all different backgrounds, talking about how to be a student entrepreneur in college, to how to prepare for life after college. And it was just amazing to know that the stereotype that's portrayed in the media is not the dominant stereotype, because the people who coordinated that conference came from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. And that topic, that stereotype of men being thugs and all that, was never brought up. It was dispelled. And if you don't put yourself in spaces and situations to see another side of what you're told, you'll only take what's given to you, which could be a lie, as the truth. And so for me, it was amazing to be in the space, but from a different perspective. One thing I will note is that I believe there should be an uplifting women conference, uplifting Black women conference, whatever you want to call it. There has to be reciprocity, because we're made up 2 different ways. I'm not trying to get into the politics of gender and how you identify sexual orientation, but we're made up differently, and there has to be reciprocity. And so if the men were to take the lead on coordinating or even booking the location or an uplifting Black women conference, it would be amazing to know that the support goes 2 ways. It's not just one way. And so that's my biggest concern, or my biggest hope, is that y'all just don't, not y'all meaning like you, but don't look, I don't even know why I told you to come on this thing today.
I can do it.
But it's not just soaking up and then you don't just take it and not give back. Because I just firmly believe unity is powerful. And we did a video on that, the power of unity. When you just come together, whether it's in your scholarship process, you have your teacher editing your essays, your mom finding your scholarships and you applying for them, or it's in life, you have a support system, what have you. Unity is powerful, because you will never take your journey alone. You will never be successful by yourself. And so you have to know someone has your 9, your 6, your 3, your 12, whatever. And then you got someone else's too. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. And I just believe that collective and something that we always talk about is corporate purpose. And we need to be able to deliver the level of access to information to both the men and women, so that we can collectively do better and serve the world in the way that only we can. So I think the kind of people that we are, we're probably going to make some sort of push for something like that coming to Virginia Tech. So do not be surprised in a couple of years if you do see an uplifting women's conference or a collective conference together, because, we need to be able to have that space where we are celebrated, where we are encouraged, where we are figuring out, what our purpose is, and just being able to do the best that we can collectively so that we can uplift everybody. So Yeah, I'm excited. I look forward to everything that is going to happen within the rest of this year. And I will say the top of this year has already pretty much blown my mind. And as I always tell all my clients and my friends, the best is yet to come. That needs to be the mindset. No matter what you are going through right now, your current situation does not determine your final destination. So keep pushing, continue to be persistent. And I promise that, God will unfold everything that he has prepared for you in this life.
Come on, Pastor.
Listen, I'll be on the pulpit next week. Don't be surprised.
Oh, gosh. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pastor Model for your attention. You're a clown. Good stuff. Well, as always, if y'all have a question for Corey, any feedback, comments, let them know in the chat. We have about 4 minutes left before we head out today. Let's see. What else am I going? I really don't have anything else to say. I will say I did. Someone dropped a comment, which I'm glad you did, and asked me, how do I find these smaller scholarships like $500, $1,000, what have you? How do you come across those, and why should you apply for them? My biggest thing is, when I said the best scholarships to apply for, I looked at it geographically, and I also looked at it based on your profile. You never want the dollar amount to be the reason why you apply for a scholarship, because scholarships are all about, I tell y'all, when you write with honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. Forgive me if you keep seeing me playing with my hair, it's not sitting right, but honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. And so your job is to tell a compelling story that encourages your readers to select you over all of the other applicants. And so you have no control over the monetary award. You have no control over the selection process, but what you do have control over, and what you should focus on, are the things that you can't control, is your product, your output, and which scholarships you apply for. And so I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I came across history scholarships that asked me to talk about how the Civil War had affected today's society. They were $15,000 scholarships. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, $15,000? I'll write it. I sit down and write. I can't get past the second sentence because I have zero interest in history. I do not like history. History was my least favorite subject, followed by science. I couldn't stand it. But if you ask me to count numbers, and which speaks to me, write, tell a story, shoot a video, that's me. I'm creative. I love to figure things out. Anything logical, I love to do it. And so just find those things that are best for you. I am going to talk about the local scholarships and the smaller figure scholarships. Don't let those slip by you, because those things add up. In most times, because people don't have the insight into how scholarships work, which I hope you are able to hear what I'm saying when I tell you this stuff in my videos, and hear from my experience having graduated debt free and won more than 42 scholarships that total more than $200,000, was that the ones you blow off consciously, other people blow off subconsciously, and you may be the only one who ends up applying for it. And if you do a great job, guess what? You won. How do I know? That happened to me several times. So I'm speaking from experience of just put your best foot forward and apply for 3 scholarships a week. Do your best and everything will play out correctly. I love y'all. It is 3:28. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm going to end it early because I'm not going to ramble. I don't like rambling. If there's anything you want to add, feel free to.
No, I hope you all just definitely make sure that you are applying all the information that Danielle has to provide. She's an excellent resource, and is just continuing to add value to her clients and everyone else throughout this world. So if she's making it available, please use it. She will not steer you wrong. She hasn't steered me wrong thus far.
That's right.
You do drive around with a GPS, so. But anyway, yes, very grateful for her. Continue to tune into her channel and just continue to use that information and apply it. That's the only way that things change. So.
That's a fact. On that note, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. If you didn't catch this live, thank you for watching the replay. Drop a comment if you have one. I can't wait to see you next Sunday and see you throughout this week with new videos. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Peace.
Good job, sir.